India is one of the 12 mega biodiversity countries of the world. From trans-Himalayas to northeastern jungles, from desert to Gangetic plains, from central Indian forests to the majestic Western Ghats. The rich variety of landscapes and wild habitats is breathtaking. India is home to an astounding 1,300 species of birds, which means it ranks 9th in the world in terms of sheer bird diversity. Is the Indian ornithology equipped to face the ever-growing challenges? There are some very critical questions, the answers to which are crucial, not only for Indian but also for the world ornithology. Birds have found a profound presence in the ancient Indian culture, literature and mythology. Birds figure even in some of the Indian cave paintings. The indigenous tribal communities of India have an intricate relationship with the birds. It is reflected in their arts and artifacts. Bird feathers and beaks are often used as status symbols by the tribal communities. In the medieval times, the Mughal emperors were keen observers of natural history. To preserve the memories of this falcon, which was gifted to him by the Emperor of Persia, the Mughal Emperor Jahangir commissioned its painting to his court artist Mansoor. Starting with the colonization of India by the Western powers in the 17th century, followed by the British rule, modern ornithology began and got firmly established in India with scientific studies of birds. In the 19th century, stalwarts like T.C. Jordan, Brian Hodgson, and Edward Blyth, and subsequently A.O. Hume, laid the foundation of systematic ornithology in India with their pioneering works on Indian birds. The 20th century is marked by the towering presence of the Birdman of India, Dr. Salim Ali. Considered the topmost ornithologist of the Indian subcontinent, he wrote 30 books, including the 10 volumes of Handbook of the Birds of India and Pakistan, with American ornithologist Dr. Dillon S. Ripley. Perhaps the greatest contribution of Dr. Salim Ali was in popularizing ornithology. He was a part of India's eminent think tank that helped write policy and strategy for wildlife in India. From an early age, Salim Ali was associated with BNHS, Bombay Natural History Society. In the field of research and conservation, Bombay Natural History Society has been a leader and pioneer in India for more than a century. The contribution of BNHS in nurturing ornithology in India has been immense. BNHS has a precious treasure trove in the form of hundreds of well-preserved specimens of birds. Some of the other institutes that cater to ornithology in India are Wildlife Institute of India, Aligarh Muslim University, AVC College, Zoological Survey of India, and Salim Ali Center for Ornithology and Natural History, known as SACON. Along with the glory of being the nation with the 9th highest bird diversity in the world, India shoulders the tremendous responsibility of protecting its immense bird life.
We have nearly 160 species of birds which are globally threatened, which are found in India. India has got a very important role to play. Indian ornithology should go beyond bird watching, and ornithology has to grow according to the demand of the conservation.
Apart from being indicators of healthy ecosystems, birds are also some of the greatest allies of human beings.
The kind of role that birds play in these kind of ecosystem services is it's immense. I mean, you know, if recently there's a paper in Science that actually calculates the role of birds goes into like billions of dollars every year.
Some of the major threats that the birds in India face are from habitat destruction, indiscriminate use of toxic chemicals, and poaching. As the economy grows and the human population expands, there is a never-ending demand for natural resources for development. Very often, the natural habitats that harbor precious bird life face inevitable destruction. Himalayas are the ancient sentinels that form the northern protective boundary of India. These benevolent giants nestle some of the most diverse wildlife habitats, home to a rich variety of bird life. Hydroelectric power is considered to be one of the most environment-friendly ways of generating electricity. But at several places across Himalayas, the hydel projects are implemented in blatant violation of environmental norms. Such projects are causing irreversible damage to the extremely eco-sensitive areas of the Himalayas and its bird life. There are also some truly inspiring instances where people's power has succeeded in saving critical bird habitats in India. Western Ghats have been declared as a World Heritage Site. Silent Valley is one of the biodiversity hotspots where an amazing variety of wildlife thrives. This ancient forest is home to about 138 species of birds. BirdLife International lists 16 bird species in Silent Valley as threatened or restricted. Some of these are Nilgiri wood pigeon, Malabar parakeet, Malabar grey hornbill, white-bellied tree pie, grey-headed bulbul, Nilgiri flycatcher, and the great Indian hornbill. About 3 decades ago, however, the pristine face of this millions of years old ancient jungle was on the brink of being scarred forever. In the early 1980s, a hydroelectric project was sanctioned on the Kuntipura River that passes through the valley.
As an environmental historian, I would like to say that the Silent Valley movement is one of the most important post-independence environmental movements in India. 1980s, it was decided to build a hydroelectric plant across the Kuntipura River. A lot of naturalists and environmentalists protested against this.
The voice of the people succeeded in getting the project over the Kunti River scrapped, saving a paradise from the clutches of destruction. Wetlands are among the important habitats for migratory as well as resident birds of India. This flock of flamingos flourishes in the Run of Kutch in the state of Gujarat. Every winter, thousands of these flamingos migrate to the creeks and bays surrounding the city of Mumbai. These magnificent birds, which are nature's precious gift to Mumbai, are assaulted by untreated chemicals which are rampantly discharged into the sea by the polluting industries. At the BSPCA Hospital of Mumbai, Dr. Yuvraj Kaginkar is treating a victim of chemical poisoning.
हा जो पक्षी आलेला आहे तो ग्रेटर फ्लॅमिंगो म्हणून ओळखला गेला आणि ज्याप्रमाणे हे पक्षी ह्या पाण्यावर सरफेस वॉटर फीडर असल्यामुळे यांना बरेचसे टॉक्सिन्सचा त्रास होतो आणि लॉंग टर्ममध्ये ह्यांचा हे जे टॉक्सिन्स असतात आपल्या पंखांच्या आणि पायाच्या सांध्यामध्ये वगैरे अशा डिपॉझिट झाल्या.
Toxic chemicals are leaving their destructive trail even among the birds of land. Rampant use of veterinary drugs like diclofenac in the livestock resulted in poisoned carcasses.
There is a carcass dump on the outskirts of Bikaner called Jorbeel. We would find very large numbers of steppe eagles, Eurasian griffon, 2-3 imperial eagles. Last winter, we went to Jorbeel. Nothing.
You don't have to wait for a situation like vulture, where overnight we lost 99% of population. There are several other species which are showing signs of population decline and the very strong link with environmental contaminants like pesticides. This is what we are trying to document, which would be ultimately useful to governments in terms of making policy decisions.
Poaching and illegal bird trade are amongst the dangerous threats that surround the Indian bird life. In a curious turn of events, the Harry Potter movie seems to have threatened the Indian owl species in no uncertain terms. According to a report, there was a sudden spurt in demand for owls as parents wanted to give them as gifts to their children. The tentacles of illegal wildlife trade are firmly entrenched across the jungles of India. Exotic species of birds are either captured alive or are killed. The forest-dwelling communities are long considered as the custodians of Indian wildlife. However, the lure of quick money can easily turn the custodians of wildlife into its destroyers. Dr. Aziz, the director of Salim Ali Center for Ornithology and Natural History, is a strong advocate of involving indigenous communities in saving birds and their habitats.
Basically, to conserve India's biodiversity, we need to have an approach where the community is involved directly, and that too the indigenous community. It is high time that the community participation is taken to much higher levels.
Some of the indigenous communities have been transformed from being killers to the protectors of rare birds. This is the Varachal forest in the state of Kerala, one of the important bird areas declared by the International Bird Association.
Here we can find all the hornbills nesting, especially all the South Indian hornbills nestings. Pioneering studies on hornbills from Western Ghats, especially this Annamalai part, indicated that the hunting of the hornbills by the hornbill, especially hornbill calves from their nest by the Kadar tribal community, as the one of the important threat for the hornbills.
In association with the Forest Department, a program was launched in the year 2004 to train and involve Kadar tribesmen for monitoring of hornbill nests. Today, these tribesmen are successfully monitoring over 60 hornbill nesting sites. This is Ajish, a tribal lad from the Kadar community, working on the hornbill conservation program since a few years. His job is to keep a sharp eye on the hornbill nests and also to make notes of their behavior during the nesting season. The sheer variety of Indian bird life can be imagined from the fact that India has about 1,300 species of birds, as against about 850 of United States of America, which is several times the size of India. Is India equipped enough to successfully handle this responsibility? Clearly, Indian ornithology needs a more robust infrastructure and greater involvement of corporate world and the civil society. Situated near Anaikatti, near Coimbatore, in the foothills of Nilgiri Biosphere, Salim Ali Center for Ornithology and Natural History, SACON, is spread in a sprawling 55-acre campus. The institute is equipped with all the modern facilities and is an ideal cradle to nurture ornithology. SACON has completed over 240 research projects. It has been contributing to conservation with on-ground research as well as with participation in policy and planning at the government level. SACON has been working in the Andamans for nearly 2 decades and has been successful in temporarily delisting the edible nest swiftlet from the Schedule 1 so that its conservation can be enhanced using the local participation. SACON hosted the first international conference on Indian ornithology in the year 2011, which was attended by some of the top Indian and international ornithologists. The arrival of the internet at the turn of this century and the developments in digital photography has popularized ornithology among the common people. This interest can be further developed with the help of initiatives like responsible bird tourism.
India is a very important country for bird watchers. Unfortunately, we don't have that infrastructure to get, but the infrastructure is developing, and we have never tapped this sector of bird watchers.
Indian ornithology stands at crossroads today. Some birds, like the vulture, have already lost much ground. However, the first decade of the 21st century has also marked the discovery of a few new bird species. At the same time, some bird species which were feared to be extinct have been rediscovered. With exciting field studies and in-depth research potential, ornithology provides a fascinating and adventurous career option to many.
If we talk about Indian ornithology, yes, it is fast gaining, and I think by the time I attain some sort of a position in my field, I may be able to contribute more towards this fast growing field.
Birds and humans have lived in close proximity to each other for ages. When message of conservation reaches far and wide, even the common people can become protectors of the winged denizens of the wild. In one of the Konkan villages of western Maharashtra, these oriental dwarf kingfisher chicks were left helpless. Their parents abandoned them when a tree fell over the area where the nest was located. Abhay and Nishikant, two nature-loving friends, became their guardians. After informing the authorities, these friends created a natural environment where the kingfisher chicks are developing their natural instincts. Once they start hunting independently in the next few days, the kingfishers will be released in the wild. The Indian ornithology has come a long way. From being a part of cultural ethos for centuries to the transformation towards scientific research, today the focus is firmly fixed on conservation. With ever new challenges and glorious possibilities, the Indian ornithology is waiting in wings to reach greater heights.